What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about some mining stocks today. We'll be talking about Marathon, CleanSpark, and BTCM. Marathon for Honcho, CleanSpark for Navi, BTCM for King T-Ski. King T-Ski wants to know some stuff about what the price is going to look like by June, but we'll get to that. Marathon here. Talking about Marathon. Went up today. All the mining stocks went up today, even though Bitcoin went down today. We saw prices below 40K for the first time since November, I believe. You know, not looking too hot. Let's see what it's looking like now. I think it's back above 40K if I remember. Yeah, right around there. That's a pretty bearish day, man. It's a pretty bearish day with some pretty bearish volume. You did go right to your oversold zone. You're finding a little support where you found support before even. I don't kid yourselves, guys. I think it was very obvious when we had this day over here, that red day. I think it's even more obvious now, right? To me, there was no denying it, that the Bitcoin price was moving down, okay? Because basically on that day, you broke this line. You officially broke it. You broke out here, had a little fakey poo, but officially broke it there. Now you're getting continuation with solid volume. Volume's increasing as you're moving. It's not a friendly look, man. As far as the RSI goes, you are kind of at the bottom of this downtrend. Maybe you do come up. Maybe you do have a few days of upside. Maybe you even get back above this. Maybe you see prices all the way back at like 43K from here. After just breaking below 40K and closing the day down there, maybe you're making a beeline right now to 43K. Wouldn't that be classic to mess with people and then down? But you've broken this area, broken this area of support. You've definitely got it right now. Even if it's like a temporary break and you get back in it, I'm convinced you have lower to go nonetheless. So I do think that all of these crypto mining stocks will go lower as well. But let's just see. And with that, I end the video. No, so bottom to top here, right off the 0.5. Not a common maneuver to make, but if you don't get something significant on it, significant as in all the way back to the 236 or higher, which I don't think you will, you'll probably find resistance at the 1782 area. I do think it goes a little bit higher, but then probably lower. And again, it could go up to the 236. You might see it at $22 again, and then go lower. That's still just a lower high overall. And let's see, top to bottom here. I mean, that's right below your 618. Maybe you would go all the way up to like $23, $24, and then go lower. 236 right there, right with that 382, right at 1782. So I don't know, man. A little bit higher, maybe in the more immediate terms, like over this week, maybe. But then downside. Then you've got some downside. Where are you going to go, Marathon? Well, that's not what I was trying to draw. Come on now. Yeah, 1322 or lower. Yeah, 1258, 1131, somewhere around there. That would make sense to me. Around 1250. 1250 to 1130, somewhere in that range is what I'm thinking. I very much doubt that you break below this low here, but I very much do believe that you have lower to go nonetheless. On a weekly basis, it looks like you're bouncing off that 50 kind of. That's not too bad of a look. But yeah, man, I got nothing else to say on this. You know, rejected your green line here, clear rejection there. You still have 8 days, 16 hours left, essentially 9 days, so who knows, but I very much doubt that you recover from that too dramatically. So CleanSpark here, same kind of thing, right? On a weekly basis, we're starting off the week green, 3.35%, even though Bitcoin was red. I do want to point something out, actually. I was looking at this earlier for CleanSpark, and I didn't pull it up on Marathon. Maybe I should have, but you can pull it up yourself if you want. Correlation coefficient. You go like this. Indicators, okay, if you're on trading indicators, I have it on my favorites, but you can go to technicals, scroll down to C, correlation coefficient. There won't be a star next to yours, but you can put a star next to it if you want. You click what you want there. I'm going to type in BTC. BTC and go with Coinbase. Yeah, okay, there we go, actually. That's what I like to do. Okay. For some reason I thought I was doing something different. So that's all you need. But if we're looking at this on a weekly basis, maybe it was a daily basis that I had it looking at before. Yeah, here we go. But nonetheless, weekly, we were kind of at a neutral correlation. Now we're very correlated, which would mean that if Bitcoin goes down, CleanSpark will likely go down. If Bitcoin goes up, CleanSpark will likely go up. There's not really too many times, and they're very short-lived whenever we see these decorrelated phases, actually, for CleanSpark and Bitcoin. But on a daily perspective, you can see same kind of thing. It's not too often that we're below this 0.5 or this 0 area, and we do it for a very short amount of time. That was like the longest that we saw back there, actually. and this was post-halving. We're not post-halving right now, different market circumstances entirely. But if you can see here, it looks like we're getting into a more correlated phase. So I would say that this leans more on Bitcoin. What Bitcoin's going to do? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Again, Bitcoin could move up to 43K. It genuinely could move up to 43K from here. I know last week I was saying around 44 to 45K, but now that number's gone down a little bit, so around 43, maybe up to 44K, but I'd say around 43, a little bit above 43K is where Bitcoin could go. It's at 40K now, so that's not even a 10% growth. These things could see some moves because of that. They really could. Especially you got like the pre-halving hype, all this stuff's going on. Like, maybe you do move all the way back to $10 or $10.75. Here you are at $7.10 right now, but I do believe you have lower to go. Absolutely, I do. And maybe not. Maybe Bitcoin just drops out from here, man. You did break a critical area. I might be giving Bitcoin more credit than I should. Maybe it does just drop out from here, but I am going to make a video on Bitcoin. Look for that later. I am going to make a video specifically on Bitcoin. That's why I'm trying not to talk about it too much right now. But low to high, maybe you move up to $8.05 and then continue down. Maybe immediately you just move down. Who really knows? I have not let go of my CleanSpark put option. I had sell orders, you guys. I had sell orders before the price was even actually at this low. Whenever it was at 650 and I made that X post on X.com, I had my sell orders set there, not at 650 because the puts, you sell it at the premium at the price of the option itself. It's different, but there were takers about 10 cents below where I was at, which for me that's like, I think that's like a 4% or like a 3% difference. And I very much believe it's going to go lower still than where it was. So I was like, I'm not going to fold. And at this point in time, I kind of wish I folded because it would have paid off very nice. But that's okay. I probably would have been able to catch, selling down here, get this move up here, reopen some puts, and then go lower. But whatever. I'm just going to be patient. In time, I do believe that this will come down lower. I don't think that this upside is going to be long-lived at all. But don't be thrown off. Don't feel the FOMO if we do move back up to $10 because it absolutely can happen. But here we are right now at $7.10. The reason why I'm not, you might be hearing that, you're like, why don't you let go of your put right now? The reason why is because we might not, man. We really might have lower to go. We didn't even hit this green line, okay, on the weekly basis, and we didn't even hit our 618, 69. We're like right at the 0.5, which to me, it happens, but it's very not common. Man, hold on. We tipped it. Anytime that we've interacted with this line at all in its history, we've gone a little bit through it, right? A little like down here, went a little bit through it, and then came back and found some resistance off it. But we didn't bounce right off it, right? We tipped it and then like went through it actually. Here, broke through it again. Here, when we found support on it, we went a little bit through it, right? We didn't bounce like right off of it. Here, when we found resistance on it, we didn't bounce right off of it. Same kind of thing here. Like if we were literally to tip it and bounce off it, that's just not how this thing normally operates. So I do think that it has a little bit lower to go. I still do believe that prices below $6.20 are, that's where I'm going to take profits. And yeah, because that's where your 382 is, and it's very common. Again, guys, it happens. It does happen where you bounce right off the 382. It's very uncommon to bounce above it. It very much is uncommon to bounce above it, but it's most common to go a little bit through it, which would imply that we are going to see prices below $6. I'm going to take profits on my put at about 620. When I see the prices around there, I'm just going to take profits, and then I will probably look to buy back some stocks, maybe even open with a small portion of the gains, some call options. But at this point in time, I'm still just waiting. I'm patient, man. Just like here, right? Just like here. I know I'm talking about me so much, but all this to say, right? We could go up and then we could go down. We might just go down. Who really knows? But I still think that we have prices below 620, potentially even below $5 at play still. But I'm going to be buying below $6 personally. But just like here, we moved up. We were up 11%, and then the next day we were down 14%. Like I didn't sell. I had my call options open here. I didn't sell. Just like here, whenever we had days where we were up 9% and then the next day we were down 3%. I'm like, I wasn't concerned. I was patient. I literally sold at the exact top. You guys saw it, right? So like I'm not trying to catch the exact bottom, right? I have targets that are substantially lower, not substantially lower, but significantly lower than where I'm trying to take profits at. But I wasn't necessarily trying to catch the exact top either right there. I was just playing off of what happens regularly with this thing and where we could expect it. If you look at this thing for what it is, it's in a nice channel upwards, right? This kind of high just made sense right there. It also made sense if it went a little higher, but also on top of that, you had your 618 from top to bottom. 618 was right there, 61869 area. And it's how, I went through and looked at the history of this thing, how it interacts with the 618. It generally goes a little bit through it. It doesn't stop right at it. That's why I thought we'd probably break $13. Here we are right now coming back to this 382. That 382 there is below $6. It wouldn't be, it's not crazy at all. This is a very common maneuver. Whenever you find support on your 236, you break through your 382, find resistance at your 618, you come back, you find support on your 382, and then you break out. So that's what I'm expecting. I do, regardless of how the price happens, I do expect that we go lower. If we look at this thing again on a daily basis, you had, at some point here, from low to high, you moved up 40% and you still went down from that low, not even from that high, but from that low, you went down another 30%. So patience. Don't get caught up in the FOMO. We might have 2 days, 3 days, 1 week of glory to the upside. That's going to be a lower high, but then more downside nonetheless. Again, the price targets for this thing from low to high, and I love CleanSpark, man. We could talk about the bullish stuff in a second. You could genuinely go as low as like 381, though I doubt that. I very much doubt that. That would technically be a lower or a higher low, but it would kind of break this structure. So I would say as low as like 486 is possible, but you probably don't hit this green line. You probably do break that yellow line, so somewhere in between is what I'm thinking. Somewhere in between 486 and 620. That's why I'm selling my put options at 620 when I see prices below there, and I'm going to look to buy when we're below $6. Because again, I'm not trying to catch the exact bottom. I don't care if the bottom's at 538. I will happily buy at 588. When the price was just up here a few weeks ago, happily I will buy at 588, even if the price drops another 10 to 15% from there. But enough about that. Let's talk about the bullish stuff with CleanSpark, man, and then we'll move on. With CleanSpark, from top to bottom here, your immediate fibs, right? Again, this is a bullish structure. This is a very bullish structure. Yes, this is a bearish candle right here, but this is a very bullish structure we have. Look at that volume, man. It's beautiful. The overall bottoming pattern is a V and a U. It's an Adam and Eve pattern. It's very nice to see. 101 is your minimum target. $307 is your maximum kind of target in the range of expectations on your fib extensions. If we take the all-time high to the all-time low, which I think is a significant fib in itself, the minimum target would be all the way up at $591. Absolutely, we could see. I know, guys. I know it's crazy. Trust me. I don't personally expect that we see those prices. I think that the highest we would see is $300 personally. But this is the given target from the given all-time high to all-time lows. Maybe it takes multiple cycles to get there, right? But maybe inevitably we do get there. Maybe not this cycle, but again, this is years of price action that's been playing out. So who knows? Maybe it just takes a long time, right? This price action, this price target up here was still a possibility back here, right? But it took a whole cycle to find a higher low. Maybe we go up, we get a higher high, come back down, find another higher low, and then we move up to there. But nonetheless, I do expect that this cycle we will at least see prices above $100. At the most, $307 is what I'm thinking. Sure, we could go higher. Sure, we could go lower, but that's my genuine opinion. So that's CleanSpark. I spent way too much time talking about it, but I have a personal interest in it myself. So let's talk about BTCM, Bit Mining Limited. Let's see here. Low to high, went all the way down, deep extensions, finding resistance on this 1618. Man, that's not a good thing necessarily, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. I'm just saying stuff like this, just in my head, how I'm looking at this fib, would leave the door open, in my opinion, to see lower lows. I don't think you do, but technically $87 is on the table at $3.86. If it was down there, I'd probably buy some, but I don't have any real interest in buying it right now. I don't think it's going there. I want to be really clear. I don't think it's going there. I do think actually you kind of maintain this higher low structure. If it were to break, maybe form a double bottom or something like that. That's okay. But you did have a kind of ascending triangle, right? That wasn't drawn properly at all. Maybe it was more like this, right? From like this flat top here, and then like something like that. You broke out of it. It was a fake out. You had a busted pattern. So what's very common to do is to come back and find support on your support line that you had before, right? Which would have been, I don't know, something like this maybe. maybe like that. Yeah, just like that. So maybe you do come all the way back down to about $2.95, $2.92 to $3, something like that. If not, you might go lower, and then at that point in time, what I would say is you better hope that you find a double bottom or a higher low, something like that. And I would think you do, because I don't personally think you go lower than this. But right now, you're at 386. Let's look at $2.90 to $3 as a realistic price target for you to hit. And that could take weeks, that could take months. You might move up from here in the more immediate term. On a daily perspective, you kind of look like everything else. So if you were to come back up and see prices at $5.11, that's still a lower high. If you saw it at like $4.76, that's not too crazy at all. You are bouncing right off this green line on the daily, which is kind of interesting. 527, 555, that's your 618 area. 444 is your 382. That's kind of a minimum area to expect on a retracement. So you could go up to 450 and then pull back, But don't get me wrong, absolutely you could tomorrow start more to the downside. It's possible too. So that's all I got for BTCM. Oh, you wanted me to talk about June. You've got, I don't know if you have call options or put options, what you said, but for June, time analysis is very hard to do. In my opinion, it's very hard to do. Let's try it. Okay. June. I don't know when in June, but we're just going to talk about the first week in June, right there, okay? That's how long you have. Where will the price be? Well, if we assume that this trajectory more or less stays the same, I would think that by June you will be above $3.84. Man, I don't remember if you gave me the strike price on there. I forget, man. I forget. I'm not going to go through and look through the comments now, though. I don't have time. Sorry. But I would think that you'd be above about 380 by then. Okay. Will you be at higher highs than that? It's possible. Will you be at lower lows than this? It is possible, but I'm not really expecting it. I do think you maintain this trajectory. Even if you break below this line, you'll probably pop right back up pretty quickly, right? As you did here, right? As you did like here. Anytime that you've decided to move up, it's been relatively quickly. So June, I do think that's a couple months after the halving, so I think that you do have time for this thing. Even if it goes lower, I think you'll have more than enough time for it to pop back up above there. I would think that it'll be above about 380 by the halving. It could be above this high. I'm not really anticipating it. That is hard to say. We don't have the low yet, so I can't really draw fibs, but bottom to top here, yeah, I don't really have much to give you on that. The best I can say is I would expect that it'll be probably at or even more likely above the current price by June, if that helps. So not financial advice, just my genuine opinion, but that's all I got for you guys. So if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe to see more. Yes, it can go lower from here in the meantime. In fact, I would count on that, but probably reverts back here by June, if not higher. So that's that. And I say that BTCM would be at 380 or higher. It could be at $6 by June. Like, it could be all the way at $6. Like, I don't know. Hard to say. It's really hard to say. It likes to move up fast when it decides to move up. It just depends on how things go, man. It depends on how things go. So anyways, that's it. Take care. Bye-bye. Hit that like button. Adios.